This is the City of Waupaca, third Tuesday of the month, City Council meeting.
The notice of a public hearing, and this is to amend our ordinance for the Waupaca year 2030 comprehensive plan, and it's the preferred land use map 8-43. And instead of reading the whole public notice, since it's already been out there, I'm going to just ask Justin just to briefly explain why we're doing this.
This is would amend the comprehensive plan, as the mayor has mentioned, and this is for the formerly known as the Habercorn field site, and to make way for proper zoning for a future public works facility and salt shed.
Okay, so that's it. That's exactly what we're trying to do here. And by our ordinances, anytime we make a change on an ordinance, we have to have a public hearing, and then we have to have 2 readings of that. And so we'll also have the first reading once we get into the council meeting. So I do call this public hearing to order. In attendance are Peterson, Olson, Martin, Hackett, Mayor Smith, Keelan, Chestnut, and Hagan. So we have 3 that are not here tonight: Mayo, Prochatsky, and Mary Fair. So we do have a quorum. So at this time, I would take testimony in favor of the change of this comprehensive plan. If you'd like to give testimony in favor, step up to the podium, give your name and address for the record, limit your time to 3 minutes or less. Any testimony in favor? Hearing none, we will take testimony in opposition to this amendment to this comprehensive plan 2030. Any testimony in opposition? All right, I declare this hearing closed at 6:05 p.m. Like I said, we'll talk about this at our regular council meeting, which I'll call to order right now. Again, welcome everybody to tonight's city council meeting. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Sandy, will you read the clerk's open meeting statement for us?
This meeting and all other meetings of the Common Council are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the media in accordance with Wisconsin state statutes, so the citizens may be aware of the time, place, and agenda of this meeting.
And also take roll for us.
Brian Smith.
Here.
Steve Hackett. Here. Lori Chestnut.
Here.
Paul Hagan.
Here.
Alan Keeland.
Here.
Scott Prochatsky. Dave Peterson.
Here.
Paul Mayo. Dimitri Martin.
Here.
Mary Fair. And Eric Olson.
Here.
7 ayes, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Sandy. Also, under the consent agenda, you have a couple items.
Under number 5, consent agenda letter D, the list of bills was uploaded to the city website. And also under number 5, consent agenda letter A, number 3, the second page to the Parks and Recreation Director's report was distributed.
All right. Hearing those, are there any items that council or staff would like to see moved from the consent agenda to the regular agenda? If not, I'd be looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda with those additions.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Martin, second by Chestnut, that we approve the consent agenda with those 2 additions that Sandy gave us. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Regular agenda, there's what you see is in your agenda is exactly what we have tonight. So again, I'd be looking for a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Hackett, second by Hagan, that we approve the regular agenda as printed. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Non-agenda items and announcements. We have a certificate of appreciation to Sam Van Dentner for his 5 years of service to the city. And Chief, I'll let you take the mic. And is that mic working there, by the way, Sandy? If not, he'll just talk loud.
Just talk.
Yeah, there you go.
Sam, if you'd like to come up here, appreciation from the city for 5 years of service. When they told me it was actually 5 years, I said, it's no way, it feels like it's been at least 10. So, Sam's does a really great job for our department. Sam works day shift with me, and I really rely upon a lot of his skills during the daytime, and he really does an excellent job. And I've always told Sam that as many things that we go over, I wish I had 10 of him, but sometimes I'm glad I only have one. So, Sam has done an excellent job with our department. I'm very proud to say he's one of our officers, so congratulations. Thank you.
I think I'd just like to say thank you. It's been a fun 5 years so far, and I'm looking forward to many more. It's been an honor serving the citizens here, and it's definitely something I look forward to, which is odd when you speak of work. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam. Thank you. Thanks. All right. So next up, we have another certificate of appreciation. This is a certificate awarded to Nathan Smith for his 5 years of service to the city of Waupaca. He's in the Public Works Department, and obviously his department head doesn't have the pull to get his employees to come. Justin, will you make sure that he gets this?
If you'll let me give it to him.
It's a very nice tie you have on tonight. All right, thank you, Justin. Appreciate you doing that. Also, we have next up public input. This is for non-agenda items. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to speak to us on an item that's not on the agenda, please step up to the podium, give your name and address for the record, and limit your time to 3 minutes or less. Anybody? Any staff?
Yes.
Council?
Yes.
Laurie?
I would like to just address the library and Peg and the management there and all the wonderful things that are going on. They're really such a huge part of the community, and their goal is to continue on in that. So thanks to you and your group, and I see it often, all the things that are going on wonderfully with you. Thank you.
All right. Peg, Laurie, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, next up then we're going to go to the department head reports and the community member report. We do have a special guest here tonight, former alderperson Dan Wolfgram is doing the community presentation tonight. So Dan, if you want, just step up to the podium. Let us know what's going on.
Thank you, Mayor. It's so good to see you haven't lost your sense of humor either. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here this evening. As Mayor said, my name is Dan Wolfgram, and I am the co-chairman of the Waupaca Fine Arts Festival. The mission statement of the Waupaca Fine Arts Festival is to foster the arts through promotion and sponsorship of artistic programs, cultural activities, and educational leadership to further promote artistic appreciation to the citizens of the Waupaca area. The Fine Arts Festival was founded by Waupaca High School choral director Gerald C. Kniffel in 1963. Since that time, the Fine Arts Festival, its membership, along with generous contributions from the citizens of Waupaca and beyond, are responsible for helping to support and bring the arts to Waupaca. The three main branches of the Waupaca Fine Arts Festival include the Waupaca Community Chorus and Civic Orchestra, the Waupaca Community Theater and Children's Theater, and the Waupaca Art Show. The Waupaca Fine Arts Festival has given to the citizens of Waupaca and its surrounding area an opportunity to develop their talents as singers, musicians, artists, and actors. They've discovered new heights for their creative abilities. The festival's various cultural events have reached an audience of thousands of people and helped them to grow in their appreciation of the arts. Our group is also part of the Waupaca Area Arts and Culture Network that is a result of the Waupaca Cultural Plan that was initiated in 2018. I was very honored to be a part of the collaboration of that plan, and hopefully its significance will continue in years to come as you continue to shape the downtown as well as the entire Waupaca community. So the overview, why am I here today? It's number one, to thank you for the ongoing support that you have shown to the Waupaca arts community and to make you aware of our upcoming 2020 festival season. Our schedule is as such. The upcoming 57th season, and I highlight 57th because there are a lot of artists and organizations in this town, but I'd like to tout the fact that we've been here the longest, and we continue on. So our 57th season will present an exciting program of varied cultural events. The festival will open with a world premiere original play by Waupaca native Pat Fair, which I'm sure you are familiar with, Mary, and Two Flags for Marco will combine forces with the Waupaca High School Drama Department on February 20th through the 23rd. So that's this weekend. So if you're looking for something to do, come out and see an original play. The annual Community Choir and Civic Orchestra concert on Sunday, April 5th will honor American composer Randall Thompson by performing his song cycle Frostiana, 7 country songs, and The Testament of Freedom. The colorful Waupaca Art Show will return to the newly renovated Danes Home in downtown Waupaca. We're very excited for that renovation project and look for continued support from the council to help flourish. The show will run from April 18th to the 23rd and will feature artists and styles in every genre. The popular Waupaca Community Children's Theater will treat audiences to Disney's Aladdin Jr. at the Waupaca Middle School Kniffel Auditorium during the week of July 20 through the 23rd. And the Waupaca Community Theater will conclude the season with its main stage performance of Disney's The Little Mermaid. The Festival Committee Board has approved a working budget of our organization of $61,892 for the 1920 season. Of that amount, the board is seeking to raise more than $22,000 through donations to support the events of the festival. The success of the fund drive helps to keep ticket prices affordable and festival events open to larger audiences. Contributions, of course, are welcome throughout the year and tax deductible if itemized. So when the city seeks understanding on what the Waupaca Fine Arts Festival does, you have a little bit of an idea that we contribute to the local economy, and we can readily see that our programs touch a large array of lives and lures visitors, enriches the quality of life in Waupaca, and expends dollars in the local economy. So I'm not asking anything specifically of the council, but I want you to be aware of our presence. I'd like to thank you for your support and know that we are a member of the Waupaca Area Arts and Culture Network, and we're excited to be in the collaboration of an arts community. We've come a long way. I've been a resident here for over 30 years, and I'm always proud to say that I'm from Waupaca. So thank you for your time tonight.
Thanks, Dan.
Any questions I should ask?
All right.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot for coming.
You bet.
All right, let's move on then to numbers here. Kathy?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council members. I do not have a report in the packet this month. I'm sorry, because I'm getting all ready for the auditors who will be working with me next week. So we will have a report as soon as we can get the final numbers and get January's information to everybody. So otherwise, what I do have to report on is that we do have a retirement in my department this year. The deputy treasurer, Tina Dennis, is going to be retiring in May. She's given me her letter, which is good, so I can plan ahead. So I will be bringing back to council next month what we're looking at to do with that position. So expect that from me. And otherwise, that's it.
Thanks, Kathy. All right, library, Peg.
Thank you. So I've just completed the annual report and had it approved by our library board. That's always a lot of numbers for me first thing in the new year. But what's happening at the library is really positive. We're getting a lot of positive comments about our Fine Free for Kids, and we are receiving some donations because we have gone Fine Free for Kids. Our strategic plan is off to a really good start. We're open till 6 on Fridays now, and we have an average of about 27 people. that are using the library during that time. We have engaged some young adults in their 20s to help us create a space in the adult department where they would feel comfortable since they no longer can go in the teen department. So we're working on furniture and accessories and programming that will take place in the adult department. Of course, I hope that you've heard that the school district and the library worked jointly on a grant for a makerspace in the high school, which was missing, and will now be available for club meetings. And the library staff will actually be having a social media club at the high school as part of this grant program. And that we did receive $10,000 to create this space, and then the school district has committed to invest another $10,000 over the next 2 years. Our Thinking Money for Kids exhibit is closed. We had 2,700 people who attended, and that's pretty good since we were closed a lot for the holidays during that time period. We had 400 school children that were bussed over and got to experience the exhibit along with other financial literacy activities with staff. And when they were there were 120 kids at a time. And I had a new patron who had just come in to get a library card, and I was telling her about the lower level, and I said, and there are 120 kids down there right now. And she said, I can't even hear them. They were so engaged in what they were doing that there wasn't a lot of chatter and a lot of misbehavior. They were just really in tune to what they were learning. Our film series is still in full force. We have 2 more classic films on Thursdays in February and then the first Thursday in March. So please check our website for all the great things that are happening at the library. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Peg. All right, let's go to Public Works. Justin.
Thank you, Mayor. My update can be seen on page 6 and 7 of the packet. As usual, starting on the wastewater side, have some workings with the Granite Street project and looking for approval tonight on some of the sanitary repairs out there. We are working on our clarifier rehab project, which we've budgeted $250,000 each for the next 2 years. We have 4 total clarifiers, and I'll be bringing more information forward. It's pretty complex. I just wanted to put that out there now, let you know that we're working on this, and there's quite a bit to it, and just wanted to give you a heads up now. Jesse has gathered 3 proposals for a backup generator at Covered Bridge Lift Station. Now, that is near Burger King, and it's one of our busiest lift stations as it handles all of the wastewater to the west of that. There is no backup power there, and we experienced during last year's power outage quite a scramble for our crews to move the portable generators to that one and to several others that don't have backup power. So we identified that one as being a major concern. That's going to be coming back to council for approval here in the near future. But we're looking to we fit within the budget as a backup generator there. So it's just more redundant. We have better service to the community during power outages. Street side, it's been snowing quite a bit lately, so we're looking forward to spring. We appreciate everyone's patience with the snow removal and working with us in that. Guys have been working around the clock. If it can get warmer, that'd be nice. Main Street, we're still waiting for approval on our 60% plans, which would trigger a lot of things moving forward. We're ready to take the next step, but again, we're just kind of waiting on the state and the Historical Society concurrence on approval of that milestone plan set. Granite Street, again, I've set a public meeting for March 10th. I'm having 2 meetings. I did this in the past and a couple other projects. That is to have one at noon and another one at 5 p.m. It's the same meeting. You only have to come to one. That's just to accommodate the second and third shifters can come during the day, and they're not if they're not able to miss it in the afternoon. Invites have gone out, and we are advertising for that as well. We're also developing a specification for a medium-duty truck. We call truck 156. It's basically like equivalent of a Ford 550. We use it all year round. We use it for snow removal in the wintertime, and in the summertime we use it for hauling a lot of materials. And again, that will be coming forward for council approval here in the near future next month. We've been having some issues with a few of our signals here in town. The one right across the street here at Fulton in Maine. We believe we have that fixed, and certainly in about a year that'll certainly be fixed. Out on Fulton Street, we've been having some issues out there, and we believe we have that issue fixed as well, but we're considering what we should do in the future. Fulton Street is on the capital plan in '24. We're not sure if we can wait that long, but certainly if you guys are receiving complaints or comments about those signals, we're considering our options out there and what we should do here in the future. Water side, we've been interviewing for our operator position that we have an opening in. We expect to have that decision made by the end of the month. And bring that information back to council next month. Along with that, we have a specification for a new pickup truck for that operator to drive around. And that, again, will be coming back to council here in the near future. Staff is working on the annual reporting, such as the PSC and DNR annual reports, working with finance, Kathy and her staff to get those things ready and out to those down to Madison where they belong. Facility side, we are replacing the carpet in the meeting rooms A and B in the library. That's coming up here in the near future. So you'll see a little bit of a change over there. Improvement, you probably noticed that it's been repainted. Some other improvements have been made over there. Been working with Peg and her staff. It's been going very well. Fits within our maintenance budget. And then also the offices over there, I believe, were completed today. Got finished up basically what we started several years ago with this rehab project of replacing carpeting over there. So, and then finally, we'll be looking for a improvement to for a roof here at City Hall tonight for approval from council. That'll be just later. So,
Great. Thanks, Justin. All right, let's go to Parks and Rec. Andrew.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. Excuse me. So this past week is a big week for the DNR to finish approving of their permits and their grant cycle for this year. We were fortunate enough to get the Lake Management Plan grant that we applied for. If you remember, we applied for that back in the fall through Ontario LLC. To try to move forward with that lake management plan, hence why we talked about the lake fund as we were moving through the budget process. So we were approved with that, which is good news. So I'll work with Ontario and the Wisconsin DNR. I'm already starting to fill out some of the paperwork as we move forward on that. That plan will take about a year. And that will give us a lot of insight into Shadow and Mirror Lake and the things that we've been doing, the things that are happening, and the things that we should be doing in the future with that lake. So it'll be a long process, but it'll be well worth it. And I know Friends of Mirror and Shadow Lakes will be part of helping with that as well, as far as getting the amount of people and at the meetings and doing those types of things to help keep that cost down. So I'll continue to update as that moves forward. We were also approved for final improvement for that deep water tree drop on Shadow Lake. The ice is improving. I know a couple weeks ago it didn't look like we had any sort of chance to do it this year because we're going to have to get some equipment out there and make sure that we're keeping everyone safe. But it is improving. If you notice, it was very cold today. It's going to continue to be cold for a while, so there may be a chance this year, but that permit is a 3-year permit, so we'll see how that goes, and I'll update as we move forward with that. On the rec side, we have beginner and intermediate soccer starting. We had Winter Rec Fest this past 2 weekends ago now, and it was very successful. We had the sled dog team out there who was giving rides around one of our baseball fields, which was really neat. I think his line was super deep all night to go and just ride around a couple times. And it looked like everyone was enjoying that thoroughly. We had hot chocolate, we had food, nice fire going on. The fireworks at the end were very nice. And it's impossible to count people in that type of scenario, but there was definitely a couple hundred people there at least throughout the night as we move forward with that. So our new booklet came out and that is being distributed mainly this week and a little bit last week. You can take a look in there. I handed one out to everyone tonight. That is our spring and summer. So all those programs, the start date for registration is March 2nd, I believe, which is coming up very soon. So we're already thinking a lot about spring and summer. And families can register for all those programs right off the bat if they want to, plan out their summer, and hopefully everything works out well with that. So take a look through there. If you have any questions, please let me know. We also have on March 21st a father-son outdoors banquet coming up. This is again, with the series of events that the youth center staff has been putting on. The excuse me, mother-daughter princess ball, father-daughter dance, father-son stuff. We've done mother-son types of activities. So this is just going along with that. So we're having an outdoors night. We're going to bring in a lot of different people like taxidermists, DNR people, fly fishermen people, trapping, and so the kids can go around and just learn about all the different things that are available to do in the outdoors and how important those are to us. So that's coming up on March 21st. Senior Center quickly, they're restarting their PALS and Healthy Living grant classes, so they have to do those a second time, so those are starting up soon, and I'll keep you posted on those. One last quick thing that I thought Kathy may touch on the wellness side. So I'm on the wellness committee as well, and Cassandra is the head of that. We made a switch this year a little bit with our wellness program to it's more of an online, or it can be on your phone or your watch. So I got a nice watch now that keeps track of my stuff. It's just an online wellness program, and it just is easier and better engages the different departments that we have. We're not all in one department. We don't all have the same schedules. So with the police department, street department, who's out plowing snow a lot. So it's really helps get more people involved. And Kathy, how many people had signed up out of what was that number you gave us?
We have 71 that are eligible, and we have 62 employees and spouses that have engaged in the app. So
Make that 63 because I was late.
So that's a good number, and that means they at least signed up. Now, we want to make sure that people are using it as well, and I don't know the exact number. Cassandra and I were looking at that list today she finally got that shows how many people are moving up in the levels. And essentially what you do is it can keep track of like my walking throughout the day. It can keep track of someone who's working throughout the day. If they do exercises, you can put we're going to do different activities where maybe the street department loses to the park and rec department as far as like different activities and stuff. Did I say that the right way? So we're going to do things like that as well, so you can gain points, and then you get gift cards. Like you could get e-gift cards or a bike or something active from the program by building up points. So it's really going to be a neat thing. I'm excited that many people are already interested in it. We have a lot of spouses who are on the insurance as well, and it's going to be important to keep our employees healthy and happy as we move forward, and also help with insurance premiums as well. So just wanted to make everyone aware that we're moving forward with that this year as well on the wellness side. That's all I got.
All right. Thanks, Andrew. All right, let's move on to the police. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. My report can be found on page 12. Last month, we did not have a meeting. Captain Helgeson and I attended the Chiefs Conference, and we just got back from that. So we're moving all that into the March meeting. One of the things that we've been working on is we've had to switch over. We usually report all our stuff through uniform crime reporting, and we're being told that we have to change to information-based reporting. And what that does is that's more details of any of the crimes that are reported. So we're in a testing phase of that, and our first month submission went in, didn't have any problems. We came through without any marks, so that was really good. Secondly, we just hired a new officer. He started last Sunday, February 9th, Jeff Mason. He had been working down in Chanute, Kansas for a few years, and he was originally from, I believe, the Appleton area, and he started his police career. He worked for Black Creek part-time and also New Holstein. So he's right now in his first phase of field testing or field training, and we think he's going to be a great addition to the department. Something that's not in my report is something that's new that we got. I'm just going to stand up just to show you. This was a backpack that we received for each of our squads. We also have them in one of the fire trucks, rescue trucks. And this was, it's called Reach a Child. And what this Reach a Child is or how it came about is there was a grant that was written through the Waupaca Community Foundation. So it's for us to reach out to kids that have been traumatized or a tragic event that has happened, that we can go, whether it's the police department or the fire department, we take this backpack out and we open it, and there's a series of books that's in here with backpacks. And the child can go in here and they can grab a book, what they want. And this is the Big Bucky Badger Mystery. Not your Bucky. So, but what this is, we'll sit down with the kids, whether it's in the house a lot of times, or if it's a traffic accident, and we'll sit down and we can read that with them. And then we'll also give them a drawstring backpack to try to make a connection and whatever event that they're dealing with, to try to make it less traumatic for them. And any of the books that we go through, they'll be refilled every 6 months. And I invited Angie was up by us the other day, and she was able to see all the books that we have, besides the backpack, the inventory that we had. So when we do the Reading Across America with the kids, that we can give the kids a book and we can spend some time with them and have a positive impact with them. But none of that would have been possible without that grant through the Community Foundation. So it's great that both us and the fire department have those in our emergency vehicles. So we also received a couple really nice letters from citizens in the community. In the last month, there was a dog that ran out onto the ice on the Waupaca River that went through, and our officers responded, and we're trying to rescue that dog. Unfortunately, the dog didn't survive. It went through the ice. The fire department had just gotten there, and the people who lost their dog were new to the area, and they were really impressed with the professionalism and compassion by Officer Nicole Hahn and Officer Ryan McCuskey, who's one of our newer officers, as to the assistance that they provided them and comforting them with what they were dealing with. And then we also got a second letter from a motorist who's having some vehicle problems on the side of the road during the winter time here. It's pretty cold out. And they indicated Ryan McCuskey was very professional and really thought he was a real good young officer and a positive impact towards our community. So it's nice to get those letters. We don't always get them. So that's all that I have.
All right. Thanks, Chief. Josh, you're up.
Work's moving along on the upgrades at the police department with their security stuff. Our alarm panel was upgraded 2 weeks ago. Next week, we are replacing the access control panels, and then I finally found some security cameras I like that are much better quality than the old ones they have that I'll be getting in the next couple weeks. Electronics recycling, we have a date set for that, Friday, April 24th from 10:30 till 1 at Swan Park. Still waiting just to finalize a couple little details with the vendor. They do have some fee changes this year compared to last year. On the Waupaca Online side of things, I'll give Ralph some credit. He's been doing some work to optimize and enhance our service. He went through the whole network and double-checked all of our frequency usage to make sure we're not interfering with ourselves, implemented some new features on some of our access points just to make things a little bit better than they have been. There's been a location in the county that we've been eyeing up for a little while that we think is very strategic for some of our growth and expansion. And over the past year, we've been talking to some property owners trying to either get access to a silo or looking to erect a tower in that area. And a few situations didn't quite work out. Some of it due to line of sight and some of it due to people not wanting towers in their yard. We just met with another property owner in that area this week, and it feels promising, and I think that opens up some opportunities to hit some areas that we can't get into where there is need and for some future expansion opportunities. So I'm hoping soon we can come back to look at a lease agreement on that. And we've been having continuing conversations with Dave Teal from the Waupaca County Economic Development Corporation on a potential project and maybe doing a little more partnering with the county on some other opportunities with Waupaca Online. Community media side of things, we have our radio station trivia contest coming up on Leap Day.
All right. Thank you, Josh. Sandy?
Thank you, Mayor Smith. My report is found on page 16 and 17. 2020 is an election year, which started with the February spring primary yesterday. We had 545 voters, which was 18%, which was up 3% from the 2016 primary, which is comparable to this election. And now my office is gearing for the April 7th spring election. And I also have been working with Andrew Whitman, Chief Hosel, and several others for the food truck ordinance. I know Andrew didn't mention it tonight, but we've been working on an ordinance. And right now, I believe it's in Tom Hart's office.
Yes.
And he's reviewing it. So that'll be coming to council. And also for the election yesterday, we had some census materials out on the table, trying to just get the word out for the 2020 census. And that's it.
All right. Thanks, Sandy. Aaron?
Thank you, Mayor Smith. My report can be found on page 18 of your packet. First, I just want to start off by thanking actually Bob Cloud and Angie, both on the Waupaca County Post, for helping us get the word out on a couple things. I'll be meeting with Angie tomorrow to talk about retail. That's something that a lot of people are interested about. It's shown pretty clear in our surveys. And we just want to educate the community on how that works and kind of the problems that are happening everywhere and what are some of the things that the conversations we're having amongst staff. So thank you, Angie, for that. And also Bob came in last week and we were able to talk about the census. Obviously that's important as federal dollars are tied to everyone that's counted. And Bob is helping get an article out. And actually Jeremy Schrader, the city administrator for Waupaca, as well as Greg Groman, who's a census specialist from CAP Services, joined me, and we're able to talk about that a little bit. So thank you, guys. It's awesome to have that relationship with our local media. A strategic plan update really quick. We're just combing through all of the results we got from the comp plan and the focus groups and the online survey. We got quite a few, and we want to make sure we input the themes from those things into our strategic plan draft. I went through it earlier this week, and I think I have about 95% of it done. I do have a meeting with Mr. Wally Jankowski tomorrow to go over that, and that should be coming forward very soon in March. You guys can also see on the website, Josh put a nice thing together where you guys can see all of those, all the data that was collected through those processes. So I encourage you to go do that if you're interested. Rock the Block update. We have 35 applications. Spoke with Ryan Roth a week or so ago, and Sarah, who's been working out of our office in the Rock the Block effort. We expect about 30 projects to get done, which is awesome. That'll make a huge difference in our community. I can't tell you exactly where those are yet, but we will have a map that we'll share where you can see the impacted areas. So that'll come forward as soon as we have it. Proposal to strategically market the city. So we've gone through our branding effort with the Chamber of Commerce, and you guys you've seen the results of that. We did have it was myself, Ron Sari, we sat, and another district staff member, and we sat through a proposal from Dave Teal and Bill Zeinert, who he works with as his marketing guru, I'll call him. And we heard some strategies on how do we push the word out there and what material do we use to do that. I can tell you we're in the beginning stages of that. In my opinion, that will be of the utmost importance moving forward. It's just what material are we pushing out? How do we wrap that up and be most effective? When you're marketing yourself, it's not free. So we want to make sure we can be as impactful as possible. So we're having those conversations right now. Township, we had a chair a meeting with township chairs last week. Represented was the town of Waupaca, town of Farmington, and town of Dayton. Town of Lynn just couldn't make it, but they have been at one in the past. And just updated them on what's happening in the city. And really, we're just trying to meet every few months to make sure we keep conversation going. We all do well or not so well as an area and as a community. And I think it's important to just keep that communication going moving forward. So I appreciate their time in that. Deer harvest, I wanted to give a quick update. 19 tags have been issued and 7 have been filled. That last one will be issued very soon, and speaking with Roger today, and we expect to see more be filled here in the near future. I'll continue to update you as that initiative continues. Emergency management, we have a work group meeting tomorrow. That will be our second work group meeting. I want to thank Terry Meeting. She's our volunteer coordinator. We actually sent her a draft that was last done in 2016. It's our emergency management plan or response plan, and she was able to update about 95% of it. We're going to go through that emergency plan as a group tomorrow, and we're going to do the things that she was not able to do. So I want to thank her for that. It's pretty awesome to have a volunteer that's willing to go through all of that. It's a lot of work. So Foundry tour, I sent the council an email about possible Foundry tour dates. Right now, it looks like March 31st at 5 p.m. is going to be the date that works the best. And that was something they want to take us through and just look at some of their sustainable practices, the things they've put in place in the last few years. I did reach out to John Wiesbrock to confirm that date and have not heard back yet, so you will receive an email as soon as I do. But right now, I think you can pencil in March 31st at 5 p.m. Last update I want to give is an update on the floodplain effort. If you guys remember, a couple months ago, we came forward with a proposal to do some elevation surveys for buildings along East Fulton Street, North Main Street, and Water Street. There were 11 properties in total. Got an update today and had to sign some paperwork. It sounds like there's a very good possibility that 6 of the 11 get pulled from the floodplain, which is actually maybe a little better than I was thinking would even happen. So that's not confirmed yet, but according to the elevations they shot, they are suggesting moving forward with an application to FEMA, and they're working with the property owners on that right now, and they're confident that that can happen. So I think that is all for me.
Do you want to update on HFC?
HFH?
Yeah.
Yes, I can do that as well. So Health and Fitness Headquarters, as everyone, or maybe not everyone, but maybe you know, has been leasing the property right next to this rec center there, Johnson Family Wellness Center. And with the unfortunate passing of Mr. Rick Johnson, they're going through some transitions with that business. And right now we have received notice from Mr. Randy O'Connell, who's the current manager and prospective owner of that business, that they will be vacating that property and focusing on the one on the Highway 22 site. And that will be the end of May will be their last date there as of now. So, you know, as we move forward, we're having conversations among staff on how to best utilize that property and what makes the most sense for the city. We did have a contract throughout the course of 2020 with HFH, and that contract is being filled. And so there's no changes in that. So I just wanted to update you on that. And if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer that too.
About Rock the Block. You did that already. Oh, you did? Yeah. What was I listening? I don't know. So was I napping? Hi. Okay, thank you. Next up, we have new business. We have license report 1492, and this is an operator's license. And I'm just going to turn it right over to the chief and have him explain to you what's going on here.
We received an application for an operator's license from Ms. McCann, and there was some violations that occurred that are in the packet after she was given her provisional. I did speak with her on the phone. I did tell her that if she wanted to come here tonight, that I was recommending her application being denied because of the violations, and I told her that if she wanted to come to city council on her behalf and give her side, that she could. Do you want me to go into any more details, or?
Well, I think it's, unless they want more detail, I think it's just enough that we are recommending that this be denied then.
Correct.
Okay.
So move.
All right, we have a motion by Hackett.
Second.
Second by Keelan that we deny the request for an operator's license. So we're denying license report 1492. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Thank you, Chief. All right, next up, we have an amendment for the H.H. Hender Brewing Company, so I'll turn that over to Aaron.
Thank you, Mayor Smith. There is a memo starting on page 57 of your packet. This memo and this topic results from a conversation I had a month and a half or 2 months maybe ago with Mr. Stroik. He did give us an update on how things are going there at H.H. Hinder. Things are going well. However, he did ask to have an extension on to this, the agreement that was entered into in October of 2018. To give you a little background, a reminder on that, that agreement basically outlined the issuance of a reserve liquor license, which is that liquor license that the $10,000 fee is tied to, and how that correlated with the improvements of a property on 810 Churchill Street, which is the old district building. They do have plans to continue to renovate that. They just asked that that be pushed off a little bit. They were going to make that an event space. That's been the plan all along. And with some recent improvements with the Danes Home and other event spaces, they just want to see how those impact the market, and they want to make sure that they have a focus on the tap house right now before they get into something and overextend. So we're recommending the extension be 1 year. So it was originally 3 years from October of 2018. This amendment basically states that it would move to 4 years, which would put us in October of 2022. And at that time, if improvements were not made, the reserve liquor license could come back to the city. I guess the other thing I'll say about that, if we could always come back if they're halfway through construction or something like that, the council obviously would have the ability to extend it a little more if need be. But that's the premise of this extension. So I guess I am recommending that we approve the amendment as written. And I do know Mr. Hackett did catch a couple errors. I think we have a repetitive section at the bottom of page 1 in that agreement where it says of the. So thank you, and I know I can count on you for catching those things.
Did the attorney write this? You better ask if that means something.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, the attorney, that does bring up a good point, though. This has been reviewed by an attorney and Attorney Sorensen, and so just so you guys know that.
Can I turn in my fee?
No comment.
Yeah.
We are asking for approval of this amendment to the agreement. Mr. Stroik has had the opportunity to look it over and has no objections to what's in there, so.
Okay, hearing that, then Aaron is requesting that we approve this extension of the agreement with H.H. Brewing, Hinder Brewing.
So move.
Motion by Peterson.
Second.
Second by Chestnut, that we agree to the amendment to the memorandum of understanding with Mike Stroik, 3H Brew LLC, DBA H.H. Hinder Brewing. Any discussion? So I have gotten a few phone calls, and so I just want to make sure that you understand this. Even though he has not fulfilled his part of the agreement yet, the original agreement did allow him to use his liquor license immediately. So as soon as he applied for it and paid his $10,000 and got the license, he was allowed to then serve alcohol there And that's why most of the time we just hear about the drinks that are served on Sunday mornings. I think that's the only time. But it is allowed under the agreement that he can do that. So if you get questions, you'll know now. Anything else? Sandy will call the roll.
Lori Chestnut,
Aye.
Alan Keeland,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Eric Olson,
Aye.
Steve Hackett,
Aye.
and Paul Hagan.
Aye.
7 ayes, motion carried.
All right, thanks, Aaron. We have ordinance number 01, 2020. This has got to do with the 2030 comprehensive plan. Justin, you want to just tell us what this ordinance says?
Absolutely, Mayor. Page 64 of the packet, this relates to the public hearing. This is amendment to the comprehensive plan, and again, this is for the Habercorn site, or Habercorn Field site. Now, our comprehensive plan has that property currently zoned on the comp plan as park and recreation, which is fine as a football field, but not fine for a public facility. So we need to amend that plan, and that's the whole reasoning for this comp plan amendment, along with the rezone, which is the next item. So far what's happened up to this is it went to Plan Commission, they adopted a resolution, made a recommendation to council. Here it is. Public hearing was published in the newspaper. Adjacent residents were notified by mail. And here we are in the first of 2 readings for the comp plan amendment. So this will be coming back to the next council for approval.
Okay, so that's just the first reading. Anybody have any questions? So you'll see this at our first meeting in March. Again, the rezoning is also an ordinance format, and so Justin, you want to just...
Yep, once again, so tailoring off of that, the rezone, so right now it is officially zoned as resource conservation. We are going to rezone it to our public or PUL district, which is our newest district, which would better fit a public institution or building as such. The first property that had that zoning was the Waupaca County Highway Department on the south side of town. This would be the second, and was created a couple years ago to accommodate these types of buildings, and even like this building here. So that is part of the rezone. Very similar process. There was a public hearing, public hearing. The notice was in the newspaper and the mailings. Plan Commission held that hearing and made a recommendation to council, and here we are with the first of 2 readings. The actual approval will be at the next council meeting.
Okay. Again, just the first reading. Unless you have any questions, we'll see this again on in our first meeting in March. All right, next up, we have the City Hall Library roofing replacement 2020, and Justin, that's you also.
That's me again, Mayor. Thank you. A memo is seen on page 78 and followed by supporting documents. So the roof here at City Hall is basically there's a flat section and there's a peaked section. It's inspected annually or twice a year. The flat section is a membrane system that's covered with wash stones. It's pretty common in commercial industrial buildings. That over the time has gotten dried out, starting to crack. We've experienced some leaks in the last couple of years. This project was on our capital plan for a number of years. We kept pushing it back, and finally we said we better do something about it. So it's been on the capital plan. It was approved with the budget process last year, and here we are. So Russ and myself developed a specification for it, advertised that, and put that out to bid. We received a total of 6 bids on February 5th. The bid tab is shown on sheet 79. The lowest bid was to Borsch Roofing Professionals for $98,797. We had a additional item on there, which is not included in the base bid. The reason is for that, that's for additional repairs as needed. So what we plan on doing with the flat section here is removing all the stones, removing the old membrane, and underneath of that is an insulation layer. That's going to stay put, and we're going to put new insulation on top and a new membrane back on. So we're going to increase basically our heating efficiency here at the building. That old membrane, after we once we rip the old membrane off, the old insulation underneath, if it needs repairs, we're going to fix that. That's what that second line there is, R&R is supposed to be replace and repair wet insulation by the square foot. So it's $1.20 we called out, or was in the bid for Borscht. So what I did was just added an additional $3,500, which would allow us to do about a third of the entire roof for this additional repairs if needed. If we have more than that, we got more problems, and I'll have to come back and tell you what's going on. So what I'm looking for is to approve the contract to Borscht Roofing out of Hortonville for an amount not to exceed $103,000. Their bid proposal is included for your review, and we expect the project to get going here early April when the weather gets nice. So, yeah, let's open up to questions.
My math is a little bit crazy, but it was 125,000 the original, what you originally said was going to cost. Then you came up with 103,000 plus 3,500. Well, you got 22,000 left over from the 125. Why are you going to need the 3,500?
I don't know where you're.
We budgeted 125 for the
Right.
project.
And
We
you
got
said-
the bids, came in, the low was
103.
was about 99,000. We're adding on an additional approximate $3,500 to pay for those additional repairs. Once we tear off the old roof and look at the insulation that's underneath, if we need those additional repairs, that's where that extra $3,500 is. So we're only asking for $103,000.
So ignore the 125.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That 125 threw me. I'm going,
Yeah.
why doesn't this come out?
That was a budgeted number. What we're asking for is 103.
Yeah.
Okay, and the 125 was already in the budget.
Already on the budget.
That's, I guess that's why I thought,
Paid for through the 2020 bond issue is how this is going to be financed. I said that correctly.
sorry about that.
Did you find any typos?
I wasn't looking for typos at the time.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Did you at all consider a peaked roof for the replacement?
For the current flat section, sorry. We considered, no, we did not consider making the whole roof back to a peak. So we have down the middle a peak section, and then it goes down to a flat section. To make that totally peaked, we just thought there'd be additional costs, expenses that we didn't really need to incur. So this roof should last us another 20, 30 years. The existing roof now is about that age, so I guess, no, we did not consider that. But the peak section that's up there will have to be replaced in the near future. That's shingles. Those are starting to wear out. That'll be a future item.
But those are original.
That's all original up there.
Yeah, I mean, and correct me if I'm right, this building was built in 1992, right?
I
So-
believe you're correct.
So we're at 27, almost 28 years with that flat roof. So if we can get another 28 years out of it, yeah. So that's your plan, really?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay.
Another question?
Yes, sir.
Was there any substantive difference between the materials that they were proposing to use versus that would explain the difference in the costs that for their bids?
No, they're all very similar. So we had the specification out there, and they all met the specification. Reviewing those, there was not one, of the ones that were more expensive that said it's of a higher quality that would be worth maybe spending more money. So
That's what I was after,
Yep.
wondering about.
yeah, so there really, when we reviewed it, that didn't really stand out of like, hey, this one is leaps and bounds higher quality and worth the price. That didn't come up.
Okay, thank you.
They're all very comparable.
Anybody else? Anybody want to make a motion?
I'd move that we approve the new roof for an amount not to exceed, help me out again, 103?
103.
103,000.
103,000.
Second. Motion by Hagan, second by Peterson, that we approve awarding the roof contract to Borsch Roofing Professionals of Hortonville, Wisconsin, for an amount not to exceed $103,000. Any discussion? Sandy, will call the roll?
Eric Olson,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Alan Keeland,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Lori Chestnut,
Aye.
and Steve Hackett.
Aye.
7 ayes, motion carried.
All right, thanks, Justin. You're up again, though, with Granite Street Sanitary.
Excellent, thank you. Page 85 is the memo for Granite Street sanitary sewer repair. This is part of the Granite Street project as a whole. We separated out from the street and water. That's being designed by Cedar Corp. And again, that's going to be primarily discussed during the public meeting. This we broke off and decided to handle on our own. So in the about a year ago or half a year ago, we had the sewer televised. There were some issues or some areas that we had some major concerns with, mainly from Harrison Street to Simcox. Page 86 shows a map of the area that I'm talking about. So the green line is our sewer line. The yellow circles are our manholes. And then, of course, there's a note there saying where we're identifying we need to have repairs within our sewer main line. So with that, we again had to come up with a plan of how we were going to fix this. We obviously considered trenching down and just ripping the old pipe out and putting new back in like you would with a traditional construction. However, since we're already ripping up the road quite a bit and replacing the water, they don't call it Granite Street for nothing, so we thought it would be safer to do a or a trenchless technology where basically the crews sit up on top of the ground, top of the surface on the road, and send a pipe through it, and it just casts in place this concrete with some superheated water, and it basically just kind of goes through and just casts it in place. So the pipe's going to stay exactly where it is, and we don't have to make a trench. So that is fairly new to our area. We did a little bit of it in Evans Street. We had a little experience with it, not to this extent. So we got to experience, I guess, how well it worked, and we liked the results. So we had to, again, develop specifications and advertise, and we did that. But what we had budgeted for this project was $50,000. With the bids that we received, far exceeded that $50,000. Now, again, I just kind of chalked that up to our inexperience with knowing how these projects cost. We can certainly get the main line replaced or recasted and have that repaired like we wanted from the beginning. We threw in there a lateral item, which would reline the laterals all the way up to the property lines. We wanted that kind of the icing on the cake, and that's the item that really blew the budget out of the water. So what I did was underneath the bid tab, which is shown on 87, made I guess a comparison bid tab where I took that item out, item number 3, and it shows that of the 5 bids we got, HydroClean, which we've done work with in the past, came up as the low for this project. Their bid, actual bid submittal, is on the following pages for your review. But what I'm looking for tonight is approval for HydroClean for an amount not to exceed $43,502.80. Now that would pay for this project minus the one item, like I said, that's been verified with HydroClean that they would be okay with completing that project as noted. This would be paid for out of the sewer fund and not any borrowing.
Okay. So Justin's recommending that we go with HydroClean LLC for an amount not to exceed the $43,502.80, and it does not include their item 3, the lateral insert, in that amount. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll move that.
Motion by Keelan,
I'll second.
second by Chestnut, that we approve awarding to HydroClean LLC to complete the Granite Street sanitary sewer repair for an amount not to exceed $43,502.80. Discussion? Go ahead, Eric.
Oh, go ahead. I was just going to ask, can you explain what we're not going to be doing, the lateral insert? Like, what is that? And does that at all relate to the lead connection?
No, there is no lead in our sewer pipes.
You're talking water.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That's right.
Yeah, but well, on the ground, there's the main, which is typically at least 8 inches big. From that is the lateral that goes to the house, services the house. So we'll get the main relined, so basically be like a brand new concrete pipe underground, and the laterals will just remain as they are. So the laterals from the main to the property line are our responsibility, so we wanted to throw that in there to see if we could get that done at the same time. Most projects, we just reconnect a new pipe to it. We don't even really worry about it. So, like I said, we were trying to put the icing on the cake, and it just didn't work out budgetarily. So,
If we don't do that, is that going to bite us later? Laterals at the end of their life expectancy, or how does that?
well, we feel confident that they should last. You know, they are all existing laterals. What we've seen from the report is that they are in pretty good shape. Most of them are not as old as the main because as people would tie on. Before I went ahead and came forward with this recommendation, I did reach out to other communities to see what they typically do, and they said usually with these sort of projects, they don't even touch the laterals as well. So, but we think we'll be fine.
Okay. Eric.
So my question, and I don't know that you can answer this, but I think it's odd looking at the numbers. It makes me wonder if some of the ones that are bidding didn't understand what was all entailed, because just looking at item number 5, the Musson Brothers quoted $270 and the Visu Sewer $225 and Northern Pipe had $7,000. You have any idea why there's such a discrepancy?
The best I can discern from that is how they pay for that item, they just put in a different location. So the ones that were higher, or I should say the ones that were lower in item 5 were typically higher in item 1. So they just thought, well, they'd just put their cost more in that item. It just probably they're part of their operations, how they want to bill and finance is my guess. But the bottom line, they all came pretty close once we eliminated that item 3. So felt pretty confident that they were making the same comparisons here.
Okay, I was just curious because it seemed very strange. That makes sense.
Yep, you get that once in a while.
Paul. Sorry, Paul.
Okay, when they put these pipes in originally in Granite Street, they would have had to have trenched it.
Yep.
Okay, so why can't we go just right back where they did it originally and do it in a lesser expensive way than this?
Because our sewer main is on the north side of the road, very close to the curb and gutter. So if we replace 2 blocks of sewer main, we're replacing 2 blocks of curb and gutter, driveways, and most likely sidewalk, more or less. That's how the trench, once you get to the bottom, it widens.
Okay.
So we thought it would be more cost-effective to go this route with the sewer and then spot repair the curb and gutter and sidewalk based on the condition that's needed out there.
Okay.
So, which we're trying to do, trying to control costs on the roadway side of, we're not replacing everything from Harrison down to Maine. We're doing the worst sections or the things that need to be done based on the condition or whatever, the items of work, so.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Dimitri?
So the cast in place is gonna reduce the volume of the pipes as to what can move through that. Do we know, like, where are we presently in terms of using that capacity? Are we gonna have enough capacity to handle future loads?
We should. So the total thickness of this cast in place is going to be very thin. It's only about a quarter-inch thick around. So really the capacity of flow that's being reduced is pretty minimal. The pipe, from what we know, has never been fully loaded in any one event. So we feel we have that capacity there and some for whatever future development or weird events that may occur. So that was considered, and we don't feel that's a concern at all.
Anybody else? All right, we have a motion and a second. Ready to vote? Sandy will call the roll.
Steve Hackett.
Aye.
Lori Chestnut.
Aye.
Paul Hagan.
Aye.
Alan Keeland.
Aye.
Dave Peterson.
Aye.
Dimitri Martin.
Aye.
And Eric Olson.
Aye.
7 ayes, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thanks, Justin. Next up, you have License Report 1491. These are the operator's license that clerk's office is feeling comfortable with having us approve. And those are on page 91 in your packet. So we'd be looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Hackett, second by Chestnut, that we approve License Report 1491. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. All right, before we go into closed session, I am going to ask that the department heads, you can leave when we go into closed session, and you do not have to come back, okay? And city attorney, you can also leave at that time too, right? All right, so I'm going to ask for a motion to convene into closed session.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Keelan, second by Martin, that we convene into closed session in accordance with Wisconsin State Statute 19.85, parent 1, parent C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the government body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, specifically for the city administrator 2019 evaluation. All right, so we need a roll call vote.
Paul Hagan.
Aye.
Lori Chestnut.
Aye.
Dave Peterson.
Aye.
Alan Keeland.
Aye.
Dimitri Martin.
Aye.
Eric Olson.
Aye.
And Steve Hackett.
Aye.
Is here. Okay. 7 ayes, motion carried.
All right, so we're going into closed session right now. I do want to say, though, while we're still here in public, that we are asking Joe Leonard, our facilitator, to be in with us at during that closed session. Okay? All right, thanks, everybody.